Alrighty, thanks for that. Seems like it's all working as expected. My name is Ken Shaw. I'm the CEO of SOS Online Backup. Good morning, I guess if you're on the West Coast, or good afternoon if you're joining us from the East Coast, or perhaps somewhere else in the world. I'm joined here today by Derek Wood, our product manager for all of our partner channel products, and Shaylin Herrick, our head of B2B marketing. Today we're going to go through the lead SOS partner program. So the webinar today is focused on either existing partners or prospective partners, people who are thinking about joining our partnership community, looking at the key product that we've got a brand new product called SOS ServerSave, which we rolled out on November 1st. But more broadly than that, we'll just talk about the overall SOS partner program. There's been other webinars that have been going on that are very, very focused on product. Today's webinar won't be quite as specific on that, perhaps just with like a 10-minute product demo. The assumption being that a lot of the audience today are prospective partners, so it's sort of more about SOS, the business, the economic background, how you can go to market, how you can sell product in this space, how you can make money. So can I take a straw poll for those of you who have already used the questions tool? Are you an existing partner or are you a prospective partner? Just so I can get a sense of the audience here this morning. Prospective, 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 not a partner yet, prospective, 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 Kevin, Osea, existing, John, I'm a prospective, David, prospective. Okay, awesome. So then definitely what we're going to do is we're going to talk probably more about the commercial side of things, the business side of backup, how you can get into this market, what you can expect. We will do a little bit on the features and functions of the ServerSave product, but there are also daily demos that run every day. So if you really want to geek out on the actual product itself, there's a daily demo. When's the next one, guys? Tomorrow at 11. Tomorrow 11 Pacific. Terrific. Okay, well let's dive in. So in terms of the webinar structure, I'm going to deliver sort of the introductory presentation and take questions. Then there'll be a brief product tour that Derek will lead, where he'll cover 3 key applications: what we call our reseller admin portal, where you manage your backup business. We'll also look at Pulse, our centralized management product, and then we'll look at the client-side desktop backup technology as well. In terms of the presentation I'll give, we'll do a brief industry overview. We'll talk about SOS ServerSave as well as the sort of regular SOS products. Look at the features and benefits of ServerSave, how SOS ServerSave is really changing the competitive landscape in terms of backup service providers and what you can expect, and then just look briefly at SOS's sort of market position today, now that we've got a solution for home users, a solution for micro businesses, and now a solution for large businesses even up into the enterprise. We'll do a Q&A after that, and there'll be a Kindle that we're giving away. And so hang around for the promotion code at the end of the webinar to get your hands on that Kindle. What I would ask you all is to start asking me your questions. So we've already had most of you use the questions feature, which is awesome. So if you've got questions that you've got for me, please do ask them now. I'll answer them throughout the presentation. And then there'll be Q&A at the very end of things. But you're going to lose me in about half an hour. So if you've got questions for me, please do ask them on pretty much any topic you like. All right, let's dive in. So first and foremost, let's just take a brief look at the online backup industry. And this is, if you're prospective partners, I think this slide is going to be quite interesting to you. Firstly, a brief background on SOS. We've been around since 2001. We're originally an Australian company. We sort of relocated to the United States in 2006, so we're now a multinational company headquartered in California, in El Segundo. We've got 4 offices around the world, 8 data centers, 150 employees, but most importantly, we've got 1,000 partners who really form the core of our distribution around the world. And we're an extremely channel-focused and partner-focused company. I highlight that because it sets us apart from most of the online backup vendors in this space. If you go and Google the term online backup right now, the first entry will be Mozy, the second entry will be Carbonite, the third entry will be us. And by any normal metric, we're one of the largest online backup companies on earth. What's quite unique about us is that more than 60% of our revenue comes from our channel, from our partners. So everything here at SOS is tooled up to really make our partners successful. If you're successful in this business, we're successful in our business. So, of that 1,000 partners, there's 500,000 users, there's 500 really active partners. So although there's 1,000 partners in total, there's really 500 actives. In terms of our background as a company, we're very much a propeller-head company. I'm an engineer. The leadership of the companies are very heavily engineering focused. Shaylin likes to say we're by nerds and for nerds, which I think does sum up pretty well what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build the very best backup technology, period, available in the world and sell it at the best price point, period. Once upon a time, our focus was just sort of limited to consumer-based file folder online backup. Absolutely not the case today. The SOS technology stack can do everything from backing up a tween's Facebook account all the way through to doing server farm backup for a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company. One of our partners that you might have heard of is Yahoo, for example, just to give you sort of a sense of the spectrum of our partner offerings. But most of our partners are 1 to 3-man shops or woman shops. So typically break-fix businesses and MSPs. A lot of our partners actually start as break-fix businesses who have problems with stickiness, who have problems with customer retention. They're looking for a sticky, recurring revenue, high-margin product to make that leap from being just sort of a break-fix business into being a managed service provider. So one of the things you'll see when Derek's demoing the product later and talking to our 360-degree partner solution, and there's sort of a wheel diagram we'll look at. But there are a lot of tools that we've built which are designed not just to help you do backup, but really to help you manage your services business. And we'll see more of that later. In terms of what's going on in the industry, if you're here today, you've obviously picked up on some of the buzz around online backup. But let's just talk some of the numbers for a moment. Right now, the online backup business is a $1.3 billion industry, according to IDC. But there are similar numbers from Forrester and Gartner and JP Morgan and sort of anyone you care to poll. In fact, JP Morgan thinks that the $1.3 billion number from IDC is underweight and that perhaps the current market's as big as $2 billion. What's more important than that is the fact that it's growing at 30% year over year. So I'm not sure what kind of businesses you all run, but I'd wager that the average rate of growth among everybody in the audience today is not 30%. Now here at SOS, we're growing at more like 70% a year. So what we'd like to do is invite you into, somebody's just said, OC has just said the audio is lost. Can everybody else still hear me? Okay, terrific. So what we'd like to do is invite you into a world where you can grow your business at 60 to 70% a year and make 50 to 60% gross margin. So there aren't many offerings out there for resellers and technology resellers in particular where you can grow that fast and make that kind of a margin. But online backup and public cloud storage in general is one of them. Now, again, going back to our sort of hardcore focus on the channel, I challenge any of you to go and find another company that promises their partners 50 to 60% gross margin. It just doesn't happen. In my experience, it's unheard of in software channel programs, really. And to get that in a recurring revenue model where you're getting paid month in, month out, year in, year out by your customers is kind of exciting. So in terms of the megatrends propelling this 30% industry growth around online backup, it's all the things you've read about and heard about, but expansion of internet bandwidth so that this kind of technology, which was once just early adopter power user technology, has now become de rigueur. Decrease in back-end costs, and that's how we can afford to give you 50% margin, right? We are deeply expert in big data binary storage in the cloud. The third bullet point, technical sophistication of the population. It's just getting far more mind share, right? Online backup is no longer a you can talk about online backup with your cousin or your auntie or your mother, and they'll probably have heard the term before. And of course, just the overwhelming megatrend of the continual proliferation of digital data and the digitization of our lives, whether that's our home life, which we sort of, well, I'll talk more about the digital life in a few minutes, but also obviously in our businesses. So where does that place us in the context of ServerSave? IDC has these two other statistics which are particularly interesting. And these come from an IDC report, which is well worth reading. I'd encourage everybody on the line to read this report. And you can get it from Derek or Shaylin, or you can get it from any of the SOS sales reps. Just ask for the ask for the IDC white paper that Ken was referring to. And this white paper is a study that IDC does every year on online backup. And one of the statistics that jumped off the page for me is that they've got 16% of small businesses in America using online backup in some form or fashion. But they have 69% of survey respondents saying that they intend to use online backup in the next 24 months. So you have a quadrupling of the spend from the business sector coming, but there's another overlying megatrend as well. Our own market research shows that within that 16% or 15%, whatever you want to call it, the people who are using backup today, online backup is only being used for a sliver of their data, so perhaps for some laptops, or perhaps for a branch office, or perhaps for one file server. It's not being used as the primary leading data protection solution. So we believe that there's phenomenal growth just within the 15%, right? Perhaps a doubling or tripling in dollars spent on an annual basis just within the existing user base of online backup, coupled then with this quadrupling or quintupling of the overall footprint of online backup's penetration into business America, which yields a pretty interesting picture for those of us in the online backup business. So here on screen is the IDC data for the compound annual growth rates of the industry over the last few years, and our projections going forward based on IDC's numbers with a 30% increase in year over year. And our breakout of the difference in spend between consumer and micro business on the one hand, being blue, and small business on the other. And for today's purposes, let's call the delineation between those two things 5 employees, right? So beneath 5 employees, let's call that consumer and SOHO, and above 5 employees, let's call that small business. So we believe that 2012, or even really right now, is